What is going on YouTube? Joon here, and we're back again with another Idle Heroes video. Today we're going to be taking a look at Realms Gate with Panda Man. Can we actually compete at where we're at right now? So shout out to Zardy for letting me onto the account again so we can test out the Panda Man and see if he can actually replace or be better than or a little bit worse than Rogan. Typically, Zardy is using a setup like this. So he's running a Rogan in that 6th slot as just a damage booster. It gives, obviously his active gives bloodthirsty, so there's a lot of good things happening. There's the assassin synergies to make the sword flash that much stronger, but only really amplifying sword flashes by a noticeable amount. The other heroes just get that base 25% boost, and the Panda can actually provide that just by having the full team or some of the team block 6 times, and then he'll trigger that passive. Now of course there's other stats that Rogan provides that the Panda will not be able to, but we get a little bit of armor, a little bit of tankiness, and it's a nice type of support, right? You make your team tankier so you can output more damage. So let's see if he can make any differences in Realms Gate.
Got that Joon, got the Joon, got that Joon, got the Joon, got that.
Based off the first 3 rounds, not looking good, but as these fights go longer, you could argue that you could get in situations where the enemy's not CC'd, or you're getting hit multiple times and you're blocking more consistently, and maybe the buffs can stack. But I have this feeling that you just want to kill things quick. You're not fighting this war of attrition where you're trying to stay in the game for a long amount of time. That just leads to bad situations. I think you just want to kill things as quick as possible, and that's why Rogan, Drake, and Sword Flash are kind of there. Queen is meant to amplify the damage, Jara is meant to keep everything locked down, and Vesa just gives you time to allow Jara and Sword Flash to kind of do their thing and keep your supports alive. So yeah, not looking too good on this first attempt here, but we'll keep testing. Let's continue to test here and see if we can get more than just 1 buff over the course of 3 rounds. Because the benchmark to beat is Rogan, which is a really tough benchmark. And of course, there is no real synergy between Starwing, Jara, and the Panda. Starwing Jara is supposed to CC the enemy squad. Now here, I don't know if we're lucky or unlucky, but the fact that we got Twine means that we won't get an active in round 2. So we will be taking a lot of AoE actives here, giving us a chance to actually block here. So it's very possible that, yes, we have a buff happening early in round 2. So we have 25% armor here and 25% attack. So that's 1 Rogan's worth of buffs. Of course, Panda gets double the buff, but we don't really care that he gets double the buff. The armor is important to keep him alive, but the attack, he's not really doing too much attack, right? So we don't really care too much that he's giving himself a double buff. At least currently with the builds that I've tried, it's not really necessary that he starts doing a lot of damage. The most important thing for him is not to die here, and I have a feeling he's gonna die. We do have 2 stacks though. So in round 3, we have 2 Rogan's worth out of 1 unit. So you can make the argument here that we're getting armor and the attack is pretty good. Our crit rate is lower, of course, but our attack is actually the exact same 1 Rogan would provide. So that Sword Flash is hitting with the exact same amount of buffs that Rogan would provide. So when it does work out, so I think there is something to be said about accounts that don't have a Starwing Jara could probably benefit a lot from having a Panda, because you're going to be taking a lot of incoming damage because you don't have this scenario playing out, right, where the whole enemy is just CC'd and you just have free reign to just go Drake, Sword Flash, Drake, Sword Flash, and just start assassinating things. So in situations where you don't have CC to rely on controlling the enemies, so you don't have incoming attacks, you are going to have a lot of chances to block. And we saw there that, you know, once we didn't get a CC in round 2, there's a lot of opportunities for the enemy to do AoE. We triggered a lot of blocks, and because of that, we were able to stack 2 buffs from the Panda for the whole team. So the benchmark is Rogan. We are really trying to compare what happens when you take a Rogan out for a Panda in Realms Gate in specific, and it seems okay. It's just that if he ever dies without providing his buff, that's like the worst case, right? You definitely need to block. You need to block 6 times before he dies. Now, if he dies, it's not the end of the world. He's actually a little bit better in that case. Again, the trade-off there is Rogan dying is bad. Being sealed is bad. It's technically like dying because his last passive will not trigger and it will not buff anyone in your team. But if Panda dies after providing his buff, that's fine, right? Your team will still be able to gain those that 25% increase in armor as well as attack, so you can actually utilize that buff in the rounds after he actually ends up dying. So it's not the worst. We have 2 stacks, which means there's only 1 stack to the team. Our Sword Flash has died, but Jara just doing Jara things. All right, this Gustin is going to completely destroy us. We really need Vesa to heal us before hitting the Horus, or sorry, the Gustin another time. Okay, well, there goes our jar. So we have no protection now from CC. The Panda is actually linked to the Gustin now, which is... I don't know how that's going to work out. An AoE away from killing our own Panda, unfortunately. Sword Flash got CC'd. That's terrible. We don't have CC removal. That's also bad. How many stacks are we at? We're only at 1 stacks of block. That is really bad. We're in round 3. We're barely keeping pace with... Oh, we're at 2 stacks now. That's nice. 2 stacks. So we're doing better than 1 Rogan. All right, so these drawn out fights, if you're going like 5 rounds, maybe you can expect to outpace a Rogan, right? Or like have at least 1 round where you have an overlap, where you're doing a little bit better than Rogan. We kind of survived a decent amount of time against that Gustin. This Panda did not die to the Gustin, which is pretty impressive. And we're gonna kill the Gustin here, most likely. So our Panda will oh, never mind. All right, so we're still able to beat this. It seems like Panda is having a nice impact. In Realms Gate, you are going to be attacking before the enemy, which means you're going to attack with whatever stats you have. The enemy will do their AoEs and create a situation where you're blocking. Your stats will go up for a round, but unless you're talking about counterattacks from Sword Flash or maybe an Eloise, you can't realize those gains in the moment, so you only really have a 2-round window to utilize those stats. So that's probably the better way of looking at it, even though the skill description does say 3 rounds. In reality, it's actually just a 2-round buff. Didn't have any issues there. If we take the Jara out of the equation, which I think I'm going to do here with the rest of the testing, maybe we can see, first of all, we can test with just the Panda. I don't know who would replace the Jara with. Maybe a carry. She provides a very similar mechanic of allowing you to at least control the enemy from doing their really strong actives and just deal with basics. And maybe in that situation, you'll be able to create some blocks to happen, get the Panda to do his impeccable strike, and that way your team gets stronger. So we'll start with Abyss. Yeah, these are like 3 of the toughest ones, right? Abyss, Light, and Dark. We'll go through these 3 heroes without Jara's ability to CC. We're going to rely on Carrie's ability to dodge, hopefully. What we hope to see here is that there's going to be a lot more incoming attacks, but Carrie can mark a couple heroes, prevent some actives from happening, and that will mean that we're going to be blocking more often, and the basics will do less damage than the actives, and we'll be able to see maybe 3 stacks happen, and whether we can still keep winning. Because Starwing Jar is obviously an insane hero for Realms Gate, which is one of the best heroes for Realms Gate. Very close to Sword Flash in the amount of content she allows you to clear in this endgame PvE. Carrie's like already dead. This puts a lot of pressure on Urvesa, of course. Why would you put some pressure on our whole team? Because we have no way to... We're just phase tanking everything, right? So where are we at? Do we have a single buff yet with all these attacks we've taken? We don't have... Oh, yes. We have 2 stacks. Wait, no. That's on the Panda. My bad. All right. So the rest of the team just has 1 stack. So we're at 1 Rogan's worth of stats. We're in round 2. As these enemies attack us here, it's really nice. The round 2 is really nice with Vesa. So I think this would be very hard to do without Vesa, because that shield is allowing us the time to actually phase tank a lot of this stuff, and we're blocking some of those things, making our armor stronger, which in turn makes our shields take less damage, so our shields stay up longer. So nice synergy there. We lost our Sword Flash. That's unfortunate. If we get any blocks, I think there's only still 1 stack, so we're still 1 Rogan as far as stats go. We have multiple stacks happening here. We have 4 stacks on the Panda and 2 stacks on the rest of the team, so we've increased our armor by 50%. We'll get a shield here from the Lion Pet, which is absolutely amazing. If we can get some more blocks to happen here, hopefully we can see some more stacks happen for our team. That KB is really annoying. I don't know how we're gonna deal with this KB. He's blocking too, like what the F? Panda's gonna die, I think. Is there any dots? I mean, that's blocks. We saw some blocks there. This is really... Yep, well, there goes Queen. I don't think this is going to be possible without Starwing. This shield's nice, though. Huge heal. His basic kind of did something a little bit. How many stacks are we at here? Wow, are we at 3 stacks? We're at 4 stacks. Now, our whole team is dead. But we got 4 stacks on the non-Panda hero, right? So we've increased our armor by 100% here. It's kind of wild. I think the Panda is at 12 stacks. Now, if the debuff didn't just shift all of our buffs off the screen, I actually think we were at 12 stacks there. It's crazy. If we could just get an attack buff that we could see on anybody, please. Anybody? Nobody? God, why is this game so hard? Why did the developers do this to us? I'm trying to test the mechanic here, bro. Carry did get a stack before. Oh, no, I can see the Drake. What's the Drake at? Drake's at 2 stacks. Okay, so I guess some things expired. I mean, Vesa is tanky AF, but how are we gonna close this fight out? There's no way. This KB is at. This Cruise is just healing this KB. Like, I can't do anything with this KB. We need to kill, I guess, the Scary, then kill the Cruise, and then kill the Queen, and then we can apply the armor down. I mean, if Drake keeps dodging, this is great. We can't get crit. This is awesome. We are in round 16, by the way. We are going to die very quick to the scaling damage from the enemy. I believe 4 versus... Well, it's 4 versus 3 now. Never mind. Carry's dead. Yeah, it's this... We're doing... Whatever damage we do to the Scary just gets healed by the Cruise. It's very sad. Very, very sad. Okay, we were able to kill the Cruise, but there is... Oh, actually... KB's getting kind of low, and he's the real damage dealer here. We're in round 24 here. If we can create... we needed more damage there. Alright, if we can do a bunch of damage here, kill a couple things. Okay, okay. Oh, God. Alright, this is all up to Drake. If he can just... 353 million? Alright. Well, we got the dub. I think. Oh, God. Okay. We take that dub, right? Okay. It is pretty hard to push this content without Starwing. You guys can see that. We're going into round... That is round 26. It's off screen there, but we were in round 26 there. There's the damage report. Vesa to 5 billion. This is more of a showcase of how insane Vesa is. Providing those shields, outlasting everything. Drake dodging. Great showcase of his mechanic of being damn near invincible. He just dodges everything. We are probably going to get completely destroyed here. We are definitely too high with the Void Corruption, I think, for these enemies. We might have to bump the Void Corruption down to 101 just to get the real base comparison of what most people are going to be farming at, because it does require some pay to win artifacts and, you know, a bunch of transcendent heroes and all this nonsense to be farming further into Void Corruption. But I just don't see how this Faith Blade active is gonna just... Well, first of all, that Carry's dead unless she dodges, but whoever the second lowest HP is probably gonna get... Oh, never mind. Sword Flash put in work there. So maybe the Carry can pull through here with some dodges. The blocks are happening. I have not been paying attention to the blocks. Oh, we have 4 stacks. Oh, 4 stacks. That's 2 stacks. That means okay. So we're actually, I mean, we're breaking even, I guess. Panda's at 4 stacks, which means the rest of the team is at 2 stacks. Oh no. Which does mean that we are completely even with the attack stats that a Rogan would provide with the Sword Flash, but the rest of our team gets more attack for whatever that's worth. That's kind of nice. Panda is still alive. Are we blocking? I see a block. Panda has been deleted. Man, and we've seen this. This is deja vu. It's just the Carry, the Vesa, and the Drake just hanging out with the ability to... Oh, can we kill? Oh, that Asmodel not dying is kind of brutal. All right, we dodged, we blocked. It's good. Too bad the Panda isn't alive. All right, 60 million there. Really nice. So it's more so the Vesa here hard carrying. It's crazy that you can't crit this hero. She's just so well positioned against the 6 versus 6 encounters in PvE in the endgame. A lot of these crits end up killing you, and the fact that she's like, I can't be crit, and she's always providing herself with a shield. She's super consistent when it comes to keeping herself alive and just keeping the rest of your team alive. So this is more a showcase of how insane Vesa is as a hero than what Panda can provide. Because her Sword Flash is constantly just piecing out. She just ends up dying too quick, right? Because Vesa, I guess, is not strong enough to keep that Sword Flash alive. What allows Sword Flash to thrive in these conditions is going to be the Starwing Jara providing a bunch of CC and just making it so the enemies aren't even attacking, right? So that's 100% damage reduction, whereas Vesa is actually having to stop enemies that are actually attacking, and there's obviously too much damage coming in. Yeah, I'm actually surprised that we're clearing this without Starwing Jara, but I would be very, very surprised if we're able to clear this. This is the hardest mob of all of them. No matter what your corruption is at, this Sleepless Mark and the carry comeback and the Almond Rock Curse and the Aspen stuff and everything's bad, right? Everything's bad. And even when you're using Starwing Jara, you're gonna have this to deal with. They have 24% control immunity because they're all dark heroes. I think when you have 6 of a kind, it creates the highest control immunity, if I'm not mistaken. And then that obviously affects your ability to CC the enemies. So carry's dead. That's nice. How many blocks do we have? What's Panda Man at? All right, we're at 2, which means we're keeping pace with the Rogan. We get a couple more blocks here. Can we get to 4? Okay, we're 2 Rogans. 2 Rogan buffs as far as attack's concerned. That's kind of nice. More blocks from the DA. Still at 2 armor and 2 attack. I mean, this is pretty impressive. I mean, we're doing pretty damn good here. Yeah, Sleepless is down for the 1 count. I mean, carry will come back infinitely, but as long as we start killing these other enemies, this is kind of working. Sword Flash is still alive. We had more problems with the Abyss Wave than the Dark Wave, which is very surprising. My gut would tell me that the Dark one is the hardest one, but I mean, we're doing pretty damn good here. I mean, why do you need Rogan? What do we got for stacks? 2. Okay. Still keeping pace with the Rogan for the team. Now, of course, we don't have crit rate, right? But we have attack for the full team. 50% attack for the full team is, I mean, awesome, right? Everyone's contributing. All right, yo, that was clean. 7 billion from Sword Flash. No Starwing Jara at Void Corruption 105. I mean, that's probably great news for a lot of people that probably have. Now, can you do this with just Queen and Sword Flash? Probably not, right? So yeah, so the real carry here is going to be Vesa because she's providing the shields to keep us going. The damage dealer is, of course, Sword Flash. Creating a synergy with Eloise would be nice, but how do you fit Eloise into this comp? I really think maybe you can make a case for dropping carry for an Eloise. So you put Eloise slot 1, Vesa slot 2, and the rest of the team stays the exact same. That'd be kind of nice. You still have the defense down synergy with Sword Flash and Drake. You really want to keep those 2 together, and then the rest of the team would just support that strategy. But again, that's a 3 trans core. A lot of people might be going towards Void Corruption 101 with only 2 trans heroes, so that might be a little unreasonable to expect. And making Vesa is, of course, really tough because she is in direct competition with Starwing Jara. So we ended up clearing all 3 of those waves, no problem. I'm very impressed. 105 Void Corruption, we didn't lose to anything. We dropped the Rogan for the Panda Man. Hopefully this is able to showcase that there is trade-offs with Rogan and Panda, but sometimes you're gaining more. You're not getting the crit chance, but you are getting armor, which will translate to more damage because the argument is your team survives longer, right? Depending on the account you have, there's some synergies you gain, some synergies you lose. Like if you have an Eloise, it's probably better to have Panda. If you have Starwing Jara, you probably don't need Panda. You want Rogan instead. Really interesting to see. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Thank you so much for checking out the video. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.